Chapter 10. Chapter Overview. The goal: maximize stockholder wealth via optimal pricing and output strategy. Strategy depends on production capacity, cost structure, marketing demand, and the competitive environment for the short and the long term. This falls into a strategic framework. We're going to use Michael Porter's 5 focuses. These include industrial rivalry, the threat of new entrants to the market, the threat of substitutes, the buyer's power, and supplier power. Market structures: pure competition, firms are price takers, products are identical, and exit and entry into the market is easy. Monopolistic competition, monopoly type, many firms with different products, some pricing power due to brand or image. And then we have information asymmetry and market failure. Lemon market problem. George Akerlof. Sellers have more information than buyers. Buyers hesitate to pay full price. Leads to adverse selections and reduced market efficiency. Strategic planning and competitive analysis. Firms commit to continuous improvement in strategic planning to stay competitive. Competitive strategic analysis helps firms do the following: anticipate threats to their business model, discover new opportunities, and reconfigure resources, capabilities, and core competencies. The key elements of a business model, this is from Figure 10.1, is the reference, is 1. Target markets. Define industries and segments to enter and remain in, guided by the firm's knowledge and strategic choices. 2. Resource capabilities. Include physical assets, human capital, and intellectual property. Constraints exist, but entrepreneurial ingenuity expands possibilities. 3. Value propositions. Aligns with customer expectations of value. Identifies firm's role in a value chain. 4. The revenue model. Explains how and when revenue will be generated. Evaluates sensitivity of margins to cost structure changes. 5. Investment and network relationships. Details capital needed and potential partnership opportunities. Includes alliances, joint ventures, and complementary businesses. And lastly, 6. Competitive strategy. Defines how the firm will differentiate and sustain its advantages. Resource-based capabilities. Gaining differential access to key resources, patents, distribution chains, etc. Example: Amazon started as an online bookseller outsourcing logistics, evolved into fulfillment leader for diverse online sales. It formed strategic partnerships with Toys R Us, using Amazon for fulfillment. The parallel in Japan, 7-Eleven as a pickup delivery hub for e-commerce. 2. Business processes. Designing difficult-to-imitate systems that can create customer value. Example: Southwest Airlines. They have an efficient point-to-point operation versus hub-and-spoke model. Operational efficiency leads to higher market capitalization than all other U.S. airlines combined. What went right? What went wrong? Xerox. The rise and strategic missteps. Initial success. Invented chemical copy paper. Achieved 15% compound growth for 20 years. Gained first mover advantage with plain paper copiers when the patent expired. Focused on large enterprise clients, high volume, high quality machines. Full service maintenance contracts, high usage and supply costs. The competitive disruption came when Canon and Ricoh targeted underserved small business market, focused on low cost per copy, sold machines at low prices, and profits from the cartridge replacements. It outsourced service to competitive dealer networks. The strategic divergence. Xerox used closed architecture in-house component manufacturing, and missed out on the scales of economy and the network effect. Canon and Ricoh embraced open architecture, formed partnerships to reduce costs and expand reach, captured market through flexibility and affordability. The outcome: Canon and Ricoh became multi-billion-dollar players. Xerox lost dominance in the copy market within 15 years. Strategic thinking, key focus areas. Industry analysis. Initial step: identify attractive industries for entry. Use tools like Porter's 5 Focus. Next, competitor analysis. Understand relative profitability within strategic groups. Basis for evaluating competitive dynamics. Next, strategic positioning. Determine how a firm can stand out and maintain its advantage and differentiation in the marketplace. Next, core competencies and resources. Identify internal strengths based on unique capabilities. Source for sustainable competitive advantage. Any one of 3 generic types of strategies may suffice. A firm may establish a product differentiation strategy, a lowest deliverable cost strategy, or an information strategy, which is an IT strategy. Product differentiation strategies usually involves competition on capabilities, brand names, or product endorsements. Boeing competes on product capabilities. Coca-Cola is by far the world's most widely recognized brand. Gillette, Procter & Gamble, Pampers, Nestle's, Nescafe, and Kellogg's each have nearly 50% market shares. All of these brands command a price premium worldwide, simply because of the product image and lifestyle associated with their successful branding. Competitive scope decisions are especially pivotal for cost-based strategy. For example, a firm like Southwest Airlines with a focused cost strategy must limit its business plan to focus narrowly on point-to-point, medium distance, and non-stop routes. In contrast, Dell Computer's cost leadership strategy allows it to address a wide scope of PC product lines at prices that makes its competitors wish to exit the market. As IBM did in 1999, Gateway was also unable to keep pace with Dell's cost cutting, and by 2006 found itself at 5.3% market share versus its 10.6% peak in 1999. Shortly thereafter, Gateway sold off its PC business. IT strategy and sustainable competitive advantage. IT as strategic differentiator. Example: Allstate uses GPS to verify driving patterns, adjust premiums, and gain customers. Example: 7-Eleven in Japan blends convenience retailing with e-commerce and logistics. Strategic configurations that drive profits. Competitive advantages stem from aligning different elements: resource-based capabilities, business processes, and adaptive innovations. Next, types of competitive strategies. We have cost-based, Southwest, product differentiation, and IT-based. We also have competitive scope matters. Competitive scope matters involve strategic effectiveness, number and types of product lines, market segments served, geographic spread, and the level of integration. This is horizontal or vertically integrated. A good case example is Gap versus the Old Navy. The Gap expanded into Old Navy. Result: Old Navy's low-cost offerings cannibalized Gap's mid-pricing sales. This misalignment of strategy with scope led to internal competition. The key insights: the strategy must match the firm's capabilities and market opportunities and customer knowledge to define an effective competitive scope. Understanding relevant markets and market structure. The definition of a relevant market: a group of firms linked by buyer-seller interactions. It's defined by product and geographic scope. An example: prime rate commercial loans is a national market. Bagged cement is a local market. Next, we've got market structure variability. We've got concentrated markets. New firms dominate, such as breakfast cereal. Top 4 firms control 86% of output. And then we've got fragmented markets, where we have many small producers. Good example is brick and concrete blocks. The top 4 firms only hold 8% of the total output. Structural shifts over time. Women's hosiery industry concentration grew from 32 to 58 of the top 4 firms. Reflects industry consolidation trends. Next, we've got strategic implementation of market structures, and this affects pricing power and level, price stability, and profit sustainability. Michael Porter developed a conceptual framework for industrial analysis, identifying the threats to profitability from 5 focuses of competition in a relevant market. In the textbook, in Figure 10-2, displays Porter's 5 focuses: the threat of substitutes, the threat of market entry, the power of buyers, the power of suppliers, and the intensity of the rivalry. Today, a 6th force is also added: the threat of a disruptive technology, such as digital file sharing for the recording music industry, streaming video on demand for the video rental industry, or digital photography for the camera film industry. Case study of Kodak versus Fuji. And this is in response to disruptive technology. In the background, Kodak was a US-based company, held 90% of the market share in film and disposable cameras in 1976. Fuji, a Japanese-based company, similarly dominated in local markets. What went right at Fuji? A proactive adaptation. And we shifted from film to digital technologies and new applications. Innovation through diversification, repurposed chemical expertise into cosmetics, invested into liquid crystal display optical films and copier components. The strategic use of capabilities, leveraging existing R&D and production strengths into adjacent markets. What went right, what went wrong at Kodak? Resistance to change, clung to high-margin film development despite digital disruption, ignored market signals, overlooked rising demand and potential for digital photography, underutilized assets, owned 1,100 valuable patents, but failed to commercialize them effectively. Outcome: bankruptcy. Equity value shrank to $220 million. The key takeaways: success in the face of disruption hinges on strategic flexibility and innovation, and willingness to cannibalize legacy products. Fuji thrived by reconfiguring core capacities. Kodak failed by protecting outdated profit centers. The threat of substitutes and its impact on profitability. Product type and brand loyalty. Generic products, wheat, office supplies. High substitution threat, low margins. Branded products, Pepsi, Gillette. Customer loyalty lowers substitution threat. Result: more brand loyalty equals more pricing power and higher sustainable profitability. 2. Distance of substitutes. Distance or less direct substitutes equals lower price sensitivity and higher markups. Example: video conferencing reduces demand for business air travel. Non-carbonated drinks eroding soda brand loyalty for Pepsi and Coke. 3. Network effects and complementers. Complementary products increase primary product value. Microsoft Windows Internet Service Provider adds values with compatible software. Apple iPad attracts app developers and supports premium pricing. Network effects reduces substitution threat and reinforces market power. 4. Distribution channel segmentation. Substitution threats vary by time, place, and channel. For example, pantyhose at convenience stores equals high urgency, few substitutions. Higher margins due to reduced options at point of sale. 5. Functionality of a market niche. Products with different features may not be close substitutes. For example, non-stop versus one-stop flights serve different customer needs. Local monopolies, non-stop service from Minneapolis equals higher margins. The key takeaways here: firms can defend against substitution by building strong brands, leveraging complementers, segmenting distribution channels, positioning products for differentiated functionality. Key barriers to entry: high capital requirements. Large investments deter new entrants. Example, $50 million needed for soft drink bottling distribution. Economy of scales and cost advantages. Incumbents enjoy lower unit costs due to scale and proprietary tech. Examples, the 7-Eleven Japan's proprietary IT. Cable TV's high infrastructure cost is eroding by the satellite tech. Brand loyalty and customer switching costs. Heavy advertising creates emotional and habitual customer bonds. Examples, Frosted Flakes brand equality via advertising. Hotel chains using loyalty programs to raise switching costs. 4. Access to distribution channels. Limited shelf or channel space favors incumbents. For examples, grocery store shelf space requires costly trade promotions. Satellite TV slots controlled by DirecTV and EchoStar. The FDA as a gatekeeper for drug market access. 5. Product differentiation. Objective differentiation. We have a patented technology. Can it be copied? Subjective perceived differentiation. Lifestyle branding like Pepsi is more defensible. Strong perceived branding reduces threat of entry. Conclusion: stronger barriers, fewer viable entrants, greater profit sustainability for incumbents. Firms must assess and, where possible, build or leverage entry barriers to defend their market position. Bargaining power of buyers and suppliers. Number 1 is buyer power. Concentrated versus fragmented buyers. It's concentrated or more power for Boeing and Airbus. They can demand lower prices. Fragmented, less power, restaurants, unless excess capacity exists. Buyer leverage increases when industry has excess capacity or inventory overhangs. Buyers have alternative suppliers or can vertically integrate. Example, HMOs negotiate low fees due to many alternatives and potentials for integration. Buyers who set industry standards can demand price cuts, but may enable network effects. 2. Supplier power. Unique versus commoditized inputs. Unique inputs. Suppliers gain leverage. Coke's secret syrup ingredients. Commodities. Incumbents gain leverage. Coke suppliers of sugar and flavoring. Power shifts during shortages. Supply constraints allow suppliers to resist buyers' pressure. Example, toy suppliers limiting delivery to powerful retailers like Toys R Us. 3. Vertical integration threats. Both buyers and suppliers can threaten to integrate upstream, downstream. This enhances their leverage and can squeeze profits from current industry players. The key takeaways here are high bargaining power from either side equals lower profitability for incumbents. Firms must assess whether power lies in their supply and demand chain and seeks ways to shift leverage in their favor.